Welcome to next training session for advanced users. Today we will provide you in 40 minutes quick overview of system features and we will add tips and tricks how to make your job easier. I'm Martina and with me is here Aleš. Aleš, are you there?
Sure. Hello, everybody.
Awesome. So let's start. Just sit down and listen to us. We will share our screen. If there will be any questions, write them down in a chat and we will answer them at the end of the session. And please keep your microphone and camera off. Thank you for understanding. I'm sure you know well Customer Support Zone. It's a great source of amazing tips, feature descriptions, and important updates. Great. So that's it. And what about today's content? Our journey starts on classification management and default settings for rate codes. Hotel Time provides many variations of settings to customize your hotel time that will suit your needs. Hotel services and revenue departments are the core system parts. It's very important to understand settings to have very deep revenue analysis. System settings has very cool restrictions for check-in and check-out. But I'm sure you did not visit other settings of printing modes and print templates. Today we will introduce you that part. What about working shifts and hotel time? Did you heard about that? We will help you to find out the right reports to identify errors and user operations. The last stop is on meal plan overview, stock balance, manual posting report, and so on. We have a great tip for contests that you can motivate your reception staff on upsell. Okay, so let's jump into the system. Aleš, are you ready?
I certainly am. Let's get started.
Perfect. So, rate code settings is my favorite system part. When I went through the system settings, I found out there is a plenty of variations to set rate codes as you wish to. Rate codes are as a smart puzzle. One part is a rates, other meal plan, fees, and packages. Everything together makes perfect pricing tool. So we can use just one rate and clone to many rate codes with different discounts and conditions. Let's have a look on rate code detail to discover rate code restrictions and conditions. Let's select one. Okay, so a rate code defines period for stay and also when can we create reservation. That determines first and last minute offers or special events in your hotel. So, do you want to create special first minute offer? Here we go. Sell from to will be in advance, for example, 6 months, 1 year. We can choose only a specific date in a week for arrival and departure. These restrictions are really cool. You can, for example, set only Friday arrival and Sunday departure as rules for weekend to eliminate one night stay during the weekends. Great feature is a package. In package is everything except accommodation, meal plan, and fees. So here is the place to set wellness, gourmet dinner, or business lunch. Briefly, all other services that generates revenue. Here in the section New Reservation, you can set default reason for stay, segment, source, and so on. These defaults help speed up creating of reservation. So reception or reservation department will have all the details pre-filled in the second step of creation reservation. if you were on the first webinar for beginner level, we created reservation very fast with that pre-filled data. At the end of the day, these details sort revenue, and that brings really deep view in your revenue. As you can see, everything starts in creation of reservation. So if we will focus on input data, we will receive great detailed data on output. And now, a very important thing, what does it mean, allow partner selection? Aleš, can you describe us?
Sure. This option is really important because it determines if anyone can book this rate code. At the webinar for beginners, we showed rate codes with a lock icon. These are those rate codes which do not have this option enabled and therefore are linked to a specific contractual partners. So if the offer, i.e. the rate code, is bookable for everyone, then I will leave it checked. You can also choose age groups and reservation types. An interesting option is to set a text on invoice. You correctly assume that this is exactly the text of accommodation item that will appear on the account immediately after creating the reservation. For certain types of hotels, we have added option to add prices without VAT into the system. The price list of accommodation can be without VAT, and VAT is then added additionally. Revenue rate discount. This is a great option, and I join Martina's enthusiasm for the rate code setup options. Through the rate code discount, or then the discount X for Y, which can be found in the right toolbar, I can easily discount the final price. So we can start with just one accommodation price list and just create a set of rate codes for different periods with a different discounting. I'm sure you have met selling 7 nights for the price of 6, for example. That's exactly the kind of this discount. And you can set several of them right away. Just any combination you would like to discount, 7 for 6, 10 for 9, and so on.
Yes, exactly. It's another variation. When we set those rules, even if the guest will extend his stay, he will always receive special discount. That is absolutely fantastic because receptionist doesn't need to think about that. All work is done by the system.
It is. Let's continue with meal plan settings. This is another place that is important to fast control your system. So this is where you set up the different types of meal you offer. You may wonder why there is no board, for example. This type of meal plan is not needed, but it is used, for example, for mapping to the channel manager system or simply to see the reservations without ordered meal.
I absolutely agree. You can set whatever you want. I love it. System is very flexible to suit your needs.
And that's the great thing about the system. It can adapt perfectly to your operation. We are going to talk more about the meal plan settings today. For example, in the half board meal, we will show you how we can set up a meal plan breakdown. The system does not only record the type of meal plan, but can also calculate the exact number of breakfasts, lunches, and dinners for the restaurant staff. First things first. The VAT rate is important, especially if you generate the meal plan as a separate item on the guest's account. If the meal plan is hidden in the accommodation item, then the VAT rate of the accommodation item is used. Revenue center determines revenue category. It is about sorting services so that you can specify its category and at the same time, for example, pair it with accounting exports. Each item, i.e. service in the system, has its own revenue center. Every day, early in the morning, the night audit automatically runs and it counts and sorts all the items from the accounts into the revenue centers. Therefore, it is extremely important to choose the right revenue center so that it does not distort the sales reports that the hotel management works with. Now the interesting part. The meal plan breakdown allows you to set when and what is included in the meal plan. We have opened the half board detail just to show you how the breakdown is set up. So, the breakfast is provided to the guest during the stay and on the day of departure. Dinner starts on the day of arrival and continues during the stay. And now a little alchemy. The change from and change to checkboxes determine what should happen if for some reason the meal plan is changed during the stay or the guest is moved to another room. For example, a guest arrives with a breakfast meal plan and opts for a half board for the next day. So we have to set what meal plan we will follow. So what is change to? In our case, where we would change from breakfast to half board, we would continue with dinner. Conversely, the change from is the last meal before the change. So if a guest wanted to switch back to full board on the next day, he would start with breakfast. I'm sure you're now thinking that you won't remember such a setting. It's perfectly understandable because you're not going to do it every day. But when any questions will arise, customer support team is always here to help you. So what's next? What about fees, Martina?
Well, fees are very specific according to your location. We are a global system provider and fees are different in Europe, in Asia or Africa. In all cases, when any legislation changes are scheduled by your local government, please share with us a government guidelines. We can always help you to set hotel time system accordingly to local guidelines to make your life easier. Let's have a look on hotel services. Here are all the services that can be added on hotel account as an item. I mean minibar items, laundry services, shuttle or retail services at the reception. As you can see, for example, in a chocolate bar. Yes, let's open it. So here is a VAT rate, revenue center, price, and we can set it as a stockable item. But now back to fees. Fee can be as an item on a hotel account as these hotel services, but fees are mostly set as a part of accommodation price that is split immediately after night audit to revenue center. For that purpose, we use revenue center processor to split fees automatically.
So now how to put it all together? Let's go to the rate code list, and here there is a coffee cup icon for the meal plan settings in the list of rate codes. The bell icon on the line means I have added reservation requests in the rate code. We have talked about them in the webinar for beginners. So for the meal plan settings, we will only pick that meal plan which is reservable for the rate code. We will add price for each age category and also specify how the meal plan should be displayed on the account. In most cases, you will include it in the room rate.
I would like to say more about prices. We recommend you to set pure accommodation price in the rates. Rate code hold meal plan prices and package. So at the end, the total price can be just one item on hotel account, and after night audit, will system split these items according to settings in revenue center analysis. Guest receives bill with one item accommodation, and at the same time, your revenue department will see split items according to settings. That's lovely. Okay. We will go back to the board detail, and here are the choices. How can be meal plan reflected on hotel account? If we do not take any option, I mean from the invoice column, item will be hidden in accommodation item and the price will be increased. Separate item means item will be visible on hotel account. That's the first option in the invoice column. The first one. Yeah, if we select only include in rate option, in that case, item will be just hidden in accommodation item. Combination of choices, separate item and include in rate means the accommodation price from rate will be separated in two items as accommodation and meal plan item. Total price will be equal to rate settings. In all cases, we recommend you to set prices of each item. System has influence on reports, forecast, and analysis in the system. As you can see, there is a lot of variation and customer support department always assists you with pricing.
Okay, so now let's make a test reservation for this rate code to see how the setup took effect. Click on a free field in the room plan or on the optional button and then select the rate code. Then the reservation owner, number of guests, and then we click on the Create Reservation button. If you are going to change anything, it's a good idea to try to make a test reservation afterwards to make sure how exactly the settings will work. Do not make changes in rate codes at busy times, as reservations may be created or edited in the system by other users. Each time such editing occurs, the system verifies the current rate code and pricing settings. If you make a mistake, it could be reflected in your reservations. Okay, we have the reservation ready and the items we have set are on it.
Okay, great. Let's have a look inside. Yeah, we can see the accommodation price for double room and a half board price as well. So as you can see together, it makes only one item on the hotel account. I would like to move for next stop as a classification management. So here you can set your own sources, client types, user groups, whatever you want to monitor. Reservation requests and room features are very useful. Do you remember? Sources, client types, and reservation features can be set up in RateCode default settings. Take a time to set all the parameters you are interested in. And immediately after creating them, go to RateCode and select them as a default settings. You know what? You can also support operations to keep all the data you want to. For that purpose, we use system settings for reservation, check-in, and check-out. Go to Settings, Application, Main System Setup, and in Reservation tab. Here in the section Check-in are all the restrictions for check-in reservation. Choose your preferences, but keep in mind too many restrictions can lead to workflow troubles. So we recommend you to use restrictions in the system very carefully. They are great to support your reception procedures and they can prevent many unwanted situations as guests will check in at the dirty room, for example. However, they shouldn't block your daily operations. On the top are restrictions for creation of reservation. Do you remember? when I talk about classification management or very bright settings for sources and client types and so on, here you can select data you want to have always filled in. So reception or reservation department will not miss them. Hand by hand, with these restrictions whereas great default settings for rate codes. So receptionist will have default mandatory data pre-filled from rate code. These data can be changed, of course, but because of these restrictions, cannot be empty.
That's why the system is here, to support your internal procedures. That doesn't mean it takes over responsibility. That's again the domain of the user, but it's certainly here to direct the user. My favorite part of the system is the printing options and document template settings. So, first, a short stop in the Accounts and Documents tab. Here are the default values for creating accounts and issuing tax documents. So, the due date, the default VAT rate, the default services, and the payment types. The more we set up, the faster the reception or reservation department will create deposits and invoices. The limits for the maximum amount to create a hotel account are excellent. So, this settings determines from what amount an invoice is automatically issued in the system instead of a hotel account. The default values in the system should mirror the most common cases and settings you use in your operation. Every hotel has it a little different. That's why there are so many possibilities. In the Text Templates Before Prices section, insert the default texts for creating pro forma invoices, deposit invoices, or tax documents. Again, this will save you some time as you do not have to fill it up in each document. In the Miscellaneous tab, you will find settings for document printings. You can choose from several invoice templates. Once you will change it here, it will be reflected everywhere, so you can play around with the appearance of the accounts. The print modes then allow you to set the grouping of items across the accounts. If you want to group items on some documents only, then we will not set it up here, but manually select the grouping for a specific document whenever we need it. Sometimes you might want to change some details in the header of the document. You can override bank accounts along with the provider and the hotel details via the adjustable document fields, and it will then appear immediately on all documents. When you will have a moment, go through the main system setup. There are many interesting options. Whenever you are unsure, just contact us and we will, as always, be happy to help you.
Indeed. Live chat and customer support department are always here to assist you. Okay, let's have a look on the top bar. Yeah, we can click on the customer support zone or open the live chat and chat with us directly from the system. That's awesome. Well, it was a quite big portion of information, but I will add some more. I promised you small description of working shifts. Here we go in the system settings. Working shifts helps you to sort operations, payments, and cashier balance according to specific working shift. It means working shift A will start in the morning and finish after evening. After shift A will start shift B. So they will finish their work by clicking on a bottom end of the shift. All the cash journals and payments are sorted into the shifts to see current movements, balances, and so on. But we don't recommend you to use this feature if working shifts are not regular and operations are not so strict. To hand over shifts is very simple also. without using these feature working shifts. Let's have a look where to check cashier balance. The most important thing. Okay, so here in the cash journal, display current balance, and you can also see the movements. If we will filter, yeah, in the top. So you can see what's there. It's a great overview, I think. And also the posting report. Let's have a look there. So in sales tab and posting report. It's a great overview of all posting in the system in selected period. So by filtering on top allows you to sort data as you wish to. And now I have a tip for you to motivate reservation for upsell. Reception is in the I said reservation, I mean reception. Okay, so reception is in the first line and they have a great opportunity to sell additionally services. You can motivate them to sell, for example, massage or special gourmet menu. Receptionists with the highest number of sold services can achieve a special reward from you. You can find all sold services here on in manual posting report in reporting tab. So we will click on reportings and manual posting report. You can find here the column user. So Alex, go ahead.
Okay. I will follow up on with the manual postings report. As Martina said, this report can be used for various purposes, but it also records stock operations of the reception stock. You can then find it in the main menu tab, Reportings, Stock Levels. It's really a very simplistic stock. You may reach negative values. It just tracks the actual value versus the stock receipts or releases. Only the hotel services that are marked as a stockable are displayed here. Remember, Martina was showing the chocolate bar there. Receipts and releases can be created via the main menu tab, Sales, Stock Movement Overview, in the top right corner. As I said, it's a really very simple stock system. If you're also using our other product, Vento, then you can set up a linked stock usage directly with Vento, and that's much better because it allows you to operate an advanced stock management, and your accountant will have it in one place together with the gastro department. Customer support will help you with the setup. Now for the meal plan reports. You are passing on a daily overview to the restaurant department. You can find it in the main menu tab, Reporting, Meal Plan, either the week ahead overview or the list of meal plans sorted by reservations or rooms. The overview is used to see the number of breakfasts, lunches, and dinners within the boarding. This means meals according to the breakdown we have set up. Meal plan is selected when creating a reservation. There will be no extra sold dinners, lunches, or breakfasts. These need to be recorded separately, and again, the manual postings report serves this purpose well. The list by reservations is then here to sort by the group name. In this list, as in the list by rooms, you can see the reservation note. By the way, you can note the extra food that the guest has bought in it. The list by rooms is directly designed to check guests as they enter the restaurant. You can configure the report as you need in the right toolbar, and also, among other things, display the guest's note. In this, you can note the guest's preferred restaurant table, special diets, or habits. Let's move to our last stop. Guests are registered in the guestbook report. You can find it in the My Menu tab, Profiles, Guestbook Report. It lists all guests in the hotel. So, if you are looking for a particular guest, do it via the guestbook. The blue reservation number will take you to the reservation detail. Martina, I think that's all for today, isn't it?
It is. I hope you have enjoyed our webinar. Aleš, my last question. Do we have any questions?
No questions.
Okay.
So this means thank you very much for your attendance, and see you later somewhere
Have
else.
a lovely day. Thank
Have
you.
a lovely day.
Bye.
Bye-bye.